Welcome back to the Hustle Podcast. It's Caleb Webster along with Logan Smith, CJ Hester, and John Hope. We are the podcast everything college football, from betting and trying to win you guys some money to knowing the news and hearing some picks. Guys, welcome back.
What's up,
Welcome
y'all?
back, all you quarantines.
All you cool cats and kittens.
Yes, sir.
Hey, if we don't have
Carol
if we don't have college football this year, it's going to be because of that bitch Carol Baskin.
Oh my God!
This is a game show, Caleb. This is family friendly.
First of all, they're all terrible people.
They are.
All of
They
them.
all deserve to go to.
Every single one.
They do.
All right, guys.
So,
You ready
John,
to talk what news we got?
Yeah, what are we talking about today, John?
First things first, we're going to be talking about new hires that we've gotten for the year, new coaches around the league. After that, we're going to be breaking down just local news, kind of Big Ten teams, stuff around us, out of Fort Wayne, you know. And then we're going over over-unders way too early for the year, trying to figure out what can we make some money on before the season even starts. So, let's kick it off with CJ. Who do you like as a new coach for the year?
I'm going to start with former FAU coach Lane Kiffin
Yes, sir.
going to Ole Miss. I think it was a great hire, great placement for Lane Kiffin. Power 5 school, but not too big to come back into the Power 5.
Right.
So Lane Kiffin, 61-34 as a head coach in college football.
Mm-hmm. You knew once he went to FAU, he was going to end up back at a big school eventually.
Yes. For sure.
Sooner than later.
2 conference championships at FAU, and 2-2 in bowl games. So I think for Lane Kiffin, I think it was a great spot. He hired some great assistants. I think for the next 3 or 4 years, I think you're going to see Ole Miss in probably top 15 recruiting classes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he'd be able to recruit down south pretty good and compete, not necessarily with the Alabamas, LSU, and Georgias, but in the middle of the pack. And I think he's a solid fit for Ole Miss right now.
I love it. Logan, who you got?
I'm going to head over to Tallahassee, Florida. This is probably my favorite offseason hire. He's not a big name like Bob Stoops, but Mike Norvell has been a successful college football coach. When in 4 seasons at Memphis, he went 37-15 overall, 24-8 in AAC play. He's led them to conference titles, and last year a Cotton Bowl, New Year's Six Bowl. So that was pretty outstanding. He had such a great run at Memphis, and that was even after year of his coaching staffs getting rated by bigger schools. And we may not see improvement this first year, but Mike Norvell is going to build a solid foundation and a new winning culture at Florida State.
I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah, the ACC needs that.
Caleb, who you got?
So I got somebody who seems to always come around when it comes to talking about sports in the last few years, when we've talked about allegations, and the mystery man himself, Grace Schiano, back at Rutgers. I picked him because I want to see something good coming out of Rutgers. We see their basketball program this year doing things that they never dreamed of doing, and maybe now Schiano hired back. He went 68-67. Unfortunately, he only had 1 win above 500, but when he took over the program, it was one of the worst in the country. So that was from 2001 to 2011. And Schiano could turn this program around. He's a great recruiter. Let's see if he stays under the NCAA radar and not in trouble. I know back with Zach Smith in Ohio State. But I'm telling you, 9/26/20, Rutgers at Ohio State. Mark it on your calendar. Schiano returns to the shoe to see if he can face Ryan Day. That's going to be a good matchup. I think Ohio State wins it, but let's see if Rutgers can pull some magic out of their hat.
Well, I think it should be no problem for him staying under the radar at Rutgers.
Hey, you never know.
Compared to Ohio State.
But trying to get recruits at a small school, sometimes you got to throw the money their way.
You got to throw the titties their way.
That works too. The women and the money, the root of all evil for men in America.
Jeez. All right.
So Greg Schiano's my pick.
Gracie, all right, I like it. I'm looking at Mel Tucker out of Colorado. Who I love Colorado. They had a rough year last year. Only 5-7, didn't make a bowl game. Only 3-6 in the pack play. Taking over for D'Antonio after he stepped down. Um, I think it's a good hire. I think it's going to take him 2, maybe 3 years to bring it back to anything resembling Michigan State of the 2000s.
He's in a tough spot.
Yeah, and it won't be the same
Very
looking
tough.
team. It won't be a defensive threatening team like it has been in years past. It's going to be more balanced for sure. It's gonna be like Archie Miller out of IU. It's gonna take time for him to get his guys in there.
Yeah, and I think
I might take him 4 to 5 years just
Right.
because of the competition he has to face.
no, I agree with you there, CJ. I feel like what Mark D'Antonio did was he took advantage of a very down Big Ten East with Ohio State having a coaching change, Penn State going through
Mhm.
those allegations. Michigan wasn't Michigan of the past, but now those programs are up and running perfectly, and Michigan State's they're fourth in the East again in the pecking order.
Yeah, I like the guy. I like the coach. I just
Yeah.
it's gonna take a minute.
That could be a tough job coming in.
Yeah, but well, let's move on to our just local news. Notre Dame, IU, Michigan, all of our favorite teams, all of our goodies, and then anything around Big Ten, all around us.
Like
Anybody got
Midwest.
Yeah, Midwest. That's the word. I can't think.
So I got some news on IU. Grad transfer from Stanford, D tackle, Jovan Swan. He's from Stanford, but he's from Greenwood, Indiana.
Ooh.
So he's coming back home to play for IU for his senior
I
year.
have no idea where Greenwood, Indiana is.
Just south of Indy.
Oh,
Just south of Indy.
Shout out.
And so in 2018, he was honorable mention All Pac-12. He had 5.5 sacks that year at the D tackle spot, which is pretty good.
Right.
So I think that hopes for the D line, and IU has Penix coming back as a quarterback with their leading rusher. So I think IU should be able to go back to a bowl game this year and maybe finish fourth in the Big Ten East.
Fourth in the Big Ten East.
Yes,
Maybe.
I got them finishing fourth.
Wow.
I'll say
tough.
that
Yep.
they've been doing good every year, and they've been competing. They just got to close. They don't have the bench everybody else has, so let's see if they can turn that around.
But they got a lot of production
Oh,
coming
they do.
back, so I
They
can
do.
definitely see them.
All right. Well,
They do a lot.
They do, but I've got news out of IU too that they're losing a redshirt sophomore, Madison Norris, who's also on the D line. He was a 3-star recruit, and he was getting a lot better, but he just decided to hit the transfer portal.
Do you know where he's
And they
headed?
lost their D line coach just left for Texas this past year. So I can only assume Texas. But
And as IU gets better, then they'll start losing coaches too, I feel
right,
like. So,
right. They start recognizing
yes.
when they start getting good buildups. Logan, what news you got?
All right, well, I'm going to kind of just go through my top 5 returning players in the Big Ten. At that number 5 spot, I had to go with Nico Collins, wide receiver from Michigan. He's a big 6'4" receiver. Last year, he caught 37 passes for 729 yards and 7 touchdowns. I expect him to be the go-to leader amongst the wide receivers. And in the second year under Josh Gaddis, I think he's going to be playing for a spot in the NFL.
Yeah.
And at that 4 spot, I got Micah Parsons, linebacker for Penn State. In 2019, he had 109 total tackles, 5 sacks, 4 forced fumbles, and a fumble recovery. So it's hard to argue with those kind of stats. With like production like that coming back at the linebacker spot, you got to look out for Penn State's defense in 2020.
That defense has been studly the last few years.
Yeah. At the 3 spot, I got Chris Olave, another wide receiver, but this one's for Ohio State. Last year, he generated a lot of separation with his route running, as good as any other receiver, with 57% of his targets 10 or more yards downfield being deemed open, which is you just have to be a couple yards in front of your defender. And that 57% was rated the highest among all receivers So with him coming back, he's probably going to be the number one offensive target for Ohio State. Number 2, I got Tanner Morgan, quarterback for Minnesota. Last year, he threw for over 3,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. He's got some more returning talent at the wide receiver position, so I'm excited to see if he can match last year's stats. And at the number 1 spot, I got Rondale Moore, the wide receiver from Purdue.
Ooh, Rondale Moore, baby.
Wow.
Yeah, last year he was limited to just 4 games due to injury, but when healthy, he is the proof's in the pudding. He's one of the most explosive players in the country. If Purdue wants a shot at the Big Ten West title, he'll need to be healthy, and he needs to put up Heisman production type numbers.
Purdue had a shot at the West title this year.
They got a lot of production.
Tough.
It's gonna be tough, but I don't think they're gonna be as bad.
Do they have a quarterback?
Oh,
I don't.
Hey, you're gonna have a great matchup. I was just saying, talk about Rondale Moore and Nico Collins. Purdue actually plays Michigan this year at Michigan in the Big House. We might have to go to that game to see that matchup versus Nico Collins and Rondale Moore. I would love to see that.
All right.
That'd be a good one.
But do they have a quarterback? I don't know.
That's the question.
That's going to be the biggest.
I honestly don't know.
Is somebody throwing the football?
Nobody knows right now.
We don't know.
We don't know.
I just know they got a big coming back on defense, and like Rondale Moore, some running backs coming back. That's going to be the main thing is who's slinging.
I mean, I like Jack Plummer from Arizona, the state of Arizona. I think he'll be the starting one that'll get the nod at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, and he got some playing time last year, so.
Yeah, so we'll see about that. I think he's going to be the best choice. Purdue just needs to stay healthy.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. And I think Jeff Brom, he really wants to prove he is one of the best coaches in the country.
And you want to have confidence, win your non-conference games going into the conference play.
Yeah.
Jack Plummer?
Yep.
Aiden O'Connell?
All right, Caleb, what you
got?
All
right, so something a little bit off, somebody not playing for college this year, but Wisconsin's own Zach Braun, third-rated linebacker on Mel Kiper's draft board. The draft's coming up in just over a week. And what do you know? Call him Jabril Peppers Jr. because his test was diluted. His sample was diluted. He said he was drinking so much water for weight-related purposes. Vaughn, who had 53 solo tackles, 12.5 sacks, weighed 238 and a combined average weight at 242 at the Senior Bowl. What a monster, but sad to see. I'm hoping that somebody big can pick him up in a later round because of this. It's sad to see for the kid because of the money loss. But unfortunately, that's how it is. He'll drop to somebody, but maybe it might work better out for him and he'll find himself at a mid-level team that can really use him at that linebacker position.
And I also saw that today, and I was reading some stories about that. And they don't think he
I don't think he will either, but at the same time,
you
never know because Jabril dropped farther than they thought.
That is true. That is true.
All right, I got news from Notre Dame. Just a couple of things. Just commit. I just saw this like 20 minutes ago. They got Pat Coogan out of Chicago, 3-star O-line, and you know what they do with
everybody
O-line
was after it
at Notre Dame. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he had a bunch of good looks after.
Yeah, Ohio State, Michigan, LSU, Bama, I think, for a 3-star.
Right. No, that's a good get. I like him. And then other thing, our quarterback that is coming in 2 years just got his 5th star.
Oh, Tyler Buckner.
Oh, wow.
Tyler Buckner. Yeah, dual threat. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he
committed over a year ago. It's not news, but it's nice to see for the bump on the recruiting class.
I was looking 3 years down the road. He's probably going to be the quarterback to lead the Irish into the shoe.
Yep.
When they play Ohio State.
That's another game we'll have to go to.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And Clemson going to South Bend next year. That's a game.
Who's driving? I don't want to drive to Columbus. It's too far. All
South
right.
Bend for
I'll go to
Clemson.
that too. I'll go to anything. I love college football.
Let's break down some games for next year or teams
Some
for next year
over-unders.
on their over-unders. Yeah. And CJ, why don't you kick us off?
All right, first up, I got Nebraska, and I saw them at 7.5.
You got them. I have
And I got
them
them
at 6.5. That's still high to me, but
either way. I got the over.
you have the over on Nebraska. You sound like
Yeah, look at the schedule.
Dude,
They open up with Purdue.
Did you remember what
at
happened
home,
last year?
So Big Ten play. And I
Remember when they were
but
playing
I
Yeah,
can still
and
Pitt
they
and
won
giving
like
it away?
3 games.
Exactly.
Wait,
And
Yeah.
CJ, I got the schedule right here. Nebraska.
I got it right here
Okay,
too.
go.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't see.
So South Dakota State,
Lost.
which is no layover, the second game at home.
Yeah,
But I mean, look at the schedule. They play Ohio State from the other side.
Penn State.
They
Lost.
got Cincinnati later at home.
Lost.
Penn State at home.
Lost. Yeah.
For them to get over 7.5, they have to win all the games that they probably be favored in and get 2 good wins.
Right.
And they face a lot of good teams at home. So I think they overcome, they make up from last year's
No.
team. And I think they get to 8 wins.
Until they give me a
They get to
reason
8.
not to, I will bet against
Same.
Nebraska every time.
Another team I got in the Big Ten is Michigan State. And I saw them at 5.5 under. 5.5, so I got them under that. I think Michigan State probably pulls out maybe 3 to 4 wins this year. Not an easy, not a conference schedule. So I actually think they would get upset at home by Toledo. I think that's week 3, I saw. And they have to go to BYU week 2. So
Yeah, I can't see them.
and
I
they got Miami at home. It's just not looking good for them. So I got Michigan State for about 3-4 wins this year. And my last team I got is Toledo. Over 6.5. I think Toledo would get 8 wins and probably win the MAC this year.
Okay, I like that.
the hell? What's going on?
Uh,
Yeah, I like that too. Logan, what you got?
All
Your
right.
teams?
Okay, so the first one I'm going to go to the ACC. I saw Louisville. I want to take them over 7.5 wins. Louisville is quietly building a talented depth chart. Scott Satterfield, year 1, he overachieved, went 8-4, and I think they could possibly do it again this year with getting Florida State and Virginia Tech at home. The road games at Clemson and Notre Dame will be tough, but overall, I think they could get another 8-4 season in. My second team is Oklahoma State. They had them at 8 wins, and I could see them easily at least getting 8 wins for a push. They get 9 or 10 starters back on defense. Their quarterback, Spencer Sanders, is back. Wide receiver, Tylan Wallace, and dynamic running back, Chuba Hubbard, also comes back, and they're probably going to have the most explosive offense in the season or in the country next year. And then I've got Boise State over 9.5. Their QB Hank Bachmeier comes back as long as he can stay healthy and take the next step. There's only a few games I could see that would slip them up, and that's Florida State, but they get them at home. BYU, but they get them at home. Going to Wyoming could be tough, but I don't see them losing more than 2 games. So give me Boise State over 9.5 wins.
Okay.
That's a lot.
I like that Oklahoma State pick too.
Yeah.
I think they're sleepers to win the Big 12.
That's
this
what
year.
I think they're going to make
like
it to
them
the
a lot.
chip for the Big 12.
Yeah, I like them.
All right.
Caleb,
So
give me what you
doing my
have.
research today, and I'm going with the defending national champions without Joe Burrow at 9 wins. I'm going with the over, boys, and this is why. LSU still has great coaching staff. I know their OC left to go to the Pats, but this is the thing. They play Cupcake, UTSA, so Texas San Antonio. They play Texas, which will be a good matchup. They play Rice, Nicholls State. And then I don't see anybody other than maybe Auburn and Alabama having a shot to beat them, we play 12 games.
I think
Yeah, but I
Florida
think
is going to be
you think it's a
loss.
loss?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Florida has a lot coming back. Plus
Okay,
Kyle
even
Trask,
if
their quarterback,
you
that's
chalk
going to be
it up,
essential
even
for
if you
any team
chalk
this
those
year.
3 losses up, we play
Right.
12 games.
Yeah.
12
A&M, I think, could
minus
be a toss-up
3
game too, though.
is 9. I think they go over. We'll see. I just think that offense, they got a lot coming back on the wide receiver side. They're losing the running back and tight end with Randy Moss's son. But we'll see, what they do. I really have hope that they could do something good with what they have. My second team, I talked shit about you last week, Miami, and I'm sorry. We're going to turn it back around. I looked at your schedule, and why I'm not talking shit is because it's all cupcakes from here. We got Temple, Wagner, Michigan State with a new coach. I mean, look at this. They don't even play Clemson this year. They got Pittsburgh will be an okay, tough game. They should beat Wake Forest. They should beat North Carolina. We'll never know. We'll see what Mac Magic has for them. Duke, Georgia Tech, Florida State. I think that they can go over. They're projected right now at 9 wins, and I think they either go over by 1 game. Yeah, I think they go over by 1 wins, or they level out and they get 9 exactly.
I love that pick.
I do too, because they had a defensive end that was just behind Chase Young in sacks last year. They just got Temple's leading sack leader to come in as a transfer. And this Miami, like you said, this schedule is cupcake after cupcake.
Yeah, I definitely think that
nice.
It should be something beautiful. I mean, conference last year they went 4-4 and then 6-7 overall. Let's flip it around with a new quarterback, somebody who sat himself out that we talked about last week. And I think that they got themselves a ball club, boys.
All I remember from last year was that dude beating up the chair when they kept losing.
Yeah.
Well, he'll be throwing the chair in excitement this time. Turnover chain, baby.
Well, hey,
Turnover chain.
This schedule's kind of ironic. They're going to go to Michigan State, but the week after is Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's head coach is D'Antonio's protege.
Yep.
And I think this Pittsburgh team, they get the
irony.
Yeah. Well, they get the safeties and their corners back. This is going to be a no-fly zone in Pittsburgh. Maybe not as good as that Michigan State's no-fly zone, but it's going to be they're going to be tough on defense.
Miami's going to make some turnovers of themselves, man. It's going to be rocking in Pittsburgh. Unbelievable, baby.
Unbelievable.
Oh,
wait, is this college basketball?
Yes, it is.
It is November 14th.
You're supposed to be Corso, Caleb.
Miami Hurricanes are going to at Virginia Tech. And they're saying, man, the crowd's going to be rocking, but they're going to be making them sit in their seats and shut up. I guarantee you Miami's going to do something good this year. Hey, you can't see it right now,
I like that.
but I'm throwing it up.
So are they going to be your pick to win the ACC Coastal?
We'll debate when we have our picks. I'm not going to say anything that will come back to hurt me like I did last year.
Caleb's taking Miami first. Yeah.
I probably will take Miami, but that's not official. Not that night. I'll probably take them to be the Coastal. Off the book.
John?
All right, I got Georgia sitting at 10 wins right now. I got them with the over.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, they haven't figured out their quarterback situation yet. The only one they have under
Jamie
their belt
Newman.
with any throwing. Yeah, they have Jamie Newman. They got Stenson Bennett.
They got the transfer.
He's going to start.
That's true.
I'm pretty sure.
That's true. They still have 6 guys total on that roster. I think it might be a little bit of a quarterback competition for the years out.
Right.
And they got one of the best wide receiver cores in the country. They've been an 11-win team for the last 4 or 5 years. Always putting up stats. I like them at 11 wins instead of 10. Other than that, I'm going against CJ with Nebraska. I think that's bullshit. I think they're going to win 4 games.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think
John,
Michigan State's going to win
should,
2 or 3.
You should just, keep rolling.
We might have to place a little bet on that.
I'll do
Nebraska.
it. I will bet money
I'm a
against
believer.
Nebraska every time I can.
We might have to put $5 on
That's
that.
fine.
I'm a believer.
That's fine. Do it. Be like last year. Did you believe last year too?
No, I did not. But I believe this year.
You should bet on them to win the West.
Nah,
Yeah.
chill
What's
out,
the
chill out.
competition?
Put your money where your mouth
Wisconsin?
is, CJ.
Ain't shit.
Minnesota's over the
Minnesota?
Minnesota.
Yeah,
I
true.
like that too, Tanner Morgan.
True.
Yeah.
Well, hey,
All right, guys.
One more
Hopefully we
thing.
win some money off these because I might bet some of this.
Oh, it's way too soon to be
One
laying
more-
money down on these.
one more
that
thing.
money
Break
now.
out of Fort
Too
Wayne,
late.
Indiana.
No, you gotta put it out there.
Yeah.
So this
Oh, yeah,
is
I
huge.
saw this.
Speaking of Miami of Ohio, Penn State wide receiver and dual sport athlete Matt Hippenhammer out of your own Snyder High School is going to Miami. Let's see what they could do this year. I'm gonna do a little bit more research, maybe talk about that more. Maybe Miami could come out and be a MAC punny, but a MAC champion this year.
Yeah.
Matt
I don't get it.
Hippenhammer.
Nice breaking
Yeah.
news.
Yeah, it just happened
Yeah, it
today.
just happened recently.
What a name. I mean, how could you not love a
Nice.
guy named Matt Hippenhammer? And he's better at baseball than he is football, but he's still a stud at football.
So we got it's going to be a 3-way race: Buffalo, Ball State, and Miami of Ohio.
Toledo.
And Toledo, yeah.
Toledo.
Toledo.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Toledo's winning the MAC.
I love MAC football.
The
We
MAC
should talk
shit
about
is
MAC
lit this
football
Don't
a little
forget
bit
Ball
more.
State, though.
Maybe we'll do a little MAC. One MAC
Yeah.
game.
Oh,
even
yeah,
if
we
we
should.
touch
We
briefly
should.
on it. One MAC game.
Caleb, what'd you say at the beginning of the podcast? This is all things college football. We're going to talk about
St.
everything.
Francis football. No, I'm just kidding. Coach Donnelly has them rolling. But no, so I just figured since probably some of our viewers are in Fort Wayne, I know not all, but some, and it's college football. So I just found that out. Thanks to Mama Juge with the stat discovery while we're live on the show. Hey, it's
Not supposed to break your sources.
Yeah.
hey, it's okay.
Yeah, no, come on, that's rule number one.
Hey, CJ, we said we had to do some tough cutting around here.
That might be one.
During this coronavirus, our funds are getting short. We can't pay for 4 people to be doing.
You can't fire me. I'm
Damn.
Ranch Wilder. Name that movie. Angels in the Outfield. Are we done?
Name that movie.
So is that it?
I have no idea what movie that is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that Angels in the
That's
Outfield?
it.
Are you serious?
That's it.
That's it.
Unless you
That's
guys
it.
have anything you guys else
I mean,
wanna hit
I want to hit on
Wash
your
your
sister,
hands.
but she's married.
Oh,
Wash your
wait, I
hands.
got another. We got another 4-star defense.
CJ's sister's not married.
Ohio State got another 4-star commit, 4-star defensive end going to Ohio State.
Not even break.
Jeez.
They're
Yeah,
blowing it out of the
breaking news.
water.
Like that's just Ohio State. They do Ohio State things.
That's
But-
just news.
Well, thank
Yeah.
you guys for listening in.
It's just
I
regular
hope
news.
that we could be a little bit more informational for you in regards to the betting online and at your local betting stops. We love to go down to OTB in the Winter Circle in New Haven. So if you want to catch us down there on a Friday night, that's usually where we're at. OTB in Winter
The
Circle.
OTP.
Yeah.
I will
Wash
tell
your
you both.
hands.
Wash your hands.
Deuces.
All right.
Cut it.